Good morning and welcome back. I'm Curtis Woods along with Laura Smith on your hometown station, KHTS, AM 1220. The subject today on Senior Moments is issues in aging and memory care. Our guests are Dr. Jill Brinks, gerontologist, aging interventions, and Mary Demkowski, marketing director of Oakmont, Santa Clarita. Now, what we're going to do is talk a little bit more with Mary, and Mary, tell us a little about yourself and tell us about where you are today.
Thank you, Curtis. As you said earlier, I am marketing director with Oakmont of Santa Clarita. We're currently under construction. We are a family-owned assisted living memory care community. Our owners are Bill and Cindy Gallagher. We're based out of Santa Rosa.
Nice.
Again, we're their 19th community, and I've recently joined them as marketing director and very, very excited about the programs Oakmont is going to be offering, particularly in memory care, our Traditions Memory Care Program.
Awesome. With the new facility you guys are opening later on this year, next year.
We're scheduled to open right around the 1st of January.
Awesome. Well, tell us more about the programs. What do you offer when it comes to issues with aging and memory care specifically?
Well, as Jill shared, all of those things that are important to keeping our memory healthy and to dealing with people who have memory issues. When you're looking for a memory care community, there's certain things that you want to look for, and I believe that Oakmont has a wonderful program, and I would love the opportunity just to share some of the things that our memory care program, again called Traditions, will offer our residents who have those memory impairments. Number one, we want our family members to feel that their loved ones are secure. Mm-hmm. So we offer that secured environment for their loved ones, that their families know that they'll be safe in their own home. Life skill stations to promote that continuation of everyday tasks. So we may have just a little station for folding clothes and doing laundry, just those everyday tasks so that our residents have that familiarity of those life skills. Another thing that we offer, and another kind of something that you see with Alzheimer's or dementia, is wandering. So we have beautiful, we call them wandering paths, where those residents that have that need or that desire to continuously wander, we have areas for them to do that safely.
Awesome. I think that's really good, where when you're in an assisted living facility, you do want to have some of the help from day to day, but you still want to have a little bit of resemblance of independence also. So to have the freedom to kind of do some of the laundry or do some of the walking on their own is a great benefit.
Absolutely. To keep them engaged.
Good.
And I'm sure that you have different stages that you have your clients and your residents are in different stages of memory care needs?
Yes.
And do you have different facilities for those different needs?
We actually we just have our one memory care community, which is all part of our community, but we have different ways of engaging someone who may be in the early stages and is more active. We may be taking them on walks or, doing, taking them even out of the community on an excursion. Someone who's a little bit more advanced, we have what we call tactile art for sensory stimulation, a lot of music within the community. So really designing our program to meet the needs of our residents, whether they be more in the earlier stages or a little more advanced, where maybe they're not as active and can't participate in some of those activities.
Now, are there support groups out there for the adult children or the seniors? Because it seems like that could be kind of a difficult transition for someone to move into assisted living facilities or any of those types of things. So are there support groups out there?
There's definitely support groups out there, and I'm a number one fan of the Alzheimer's support groups. I actually facilitate one and have been facilitating one for several years. But as far as moving into the community, our staff is very sensitive to this transition. So Of course, the staff is there to help the families transition. We will offer a support group. So a support group is where whether you live in a community or you're taking care of your loved one at home, having that support system is so important. It's a place where you can go and just get support, non-judgmental environment. You can share your frustrations with people that have gone through or are going through the same thing that you're going through. So a support group is, yes, very, very important.
Yeah, we spoke earlier, and you were telling me, Mary, that you have an experience yourself with your mother, I believe?
Yes. I feel, when in listening to Jill talk about the stages and the different signs that you see, experience that. Yeah, right through beginning stages to the end stages. My mom was diagnosed in 2005, and my brother and I had seen the signs prior to that, but not having that knowledge, you wonder, is it just the normal aging process? Is there something more serious? And it's important to reach out and get that information. We actually used a geriatric care manager. My mom lived on the East Coast, so we would have used Jill had we been closer. But very helpful in helping us to kind of sort through what was going on. And eventually, we started out with having her go to an adult daycare at the senior center where she lived. We then brought in a little bit of home care, and then eventually moved her into a community. But having that support along the way, the knowledge, the Alzheimer's Association was also very helpful to myself and my family. It just makes going through that journey a little bit easier.
So then you have a personal kind of experience with this type of issue, and then you also have professional experience through Oakmont and other facilities.
Yes.
What would you say to the adult children? What, as a tip, what kind of suggestions would you give them when they start to notice these issues with mom or dad?
I think that reaching out and asking for help is important. Knowing what's available in your community. I will share with you that the first phone call I made when my mom got the official diagnosis that, yes, we believe she has the beginning stages of Alzheimer's, was to the Alzheimer's Association. And again, that was back on the East Coast, but at that time, that person that I spoke to was almost like a lifeline to me. And believe it or not, we still stay in touch. It's been many years since we made that connection. She has since retired, but we still keep in touch. So reaching out and asking for help, knowing that there are resources out there, making the best decision for your family, whether it be, caring for your loved one in your home, or feeling that maybe moving to a community would be a better fit for your family. There are resources out there to help you along that journey.
Good stuff. So don't suffer in silence.
Absolutely.
Ask the questions. Even reach out to the Senior Resource Alliance so we can kind of get that information out to you.
Definitely.
Jill, this might be a good question for you. I was wondering, when you are concerned about your family member having dementia or Alzheimer's, do you go directly to your primary care physician, or do you reach out, would you suggest, to other doctors, other types of professions and specialties?
I think that starting with the primary care doctor is the best initial start, because there might be, and it really depends upon what type of healthcare you have. If you're part of an HMO, you're going to have to go through your primary care doctor. But I think it's a really good place to start. As we had discussed before, there's so many things that doctor needs to assess for and rule out before we say, okay, maybe we do need to see a neurologist for neurological evaluation, and then maybe to see a psychiatrist as well as a geriatric neuropsychologist for testing. So yes, definitely start with the primary care doctor.
And then when they work with primary care doctors and other folks in the profession, I assume everybody can network one another. The doctor can go visit at the assisted facility, depending on the doctor's services and everything like that. They can all tie together. Is that about right?
Well, that's the hope.
Okay.
But that's the hope. But I think Mary can attest to the fact that that's not always what happens.
Okay.
You don't find a lot of doctors that will do house calls to assisted living.
Right.
Okay.
Right. I mean, there are doctors that will do that, depending on, how many patients they may have in a certain community. But, one thing to keep in mind is that communication with the physician and the staff if your loved one happens to be in a memory care community, that communication between the nurse at the community and the doctor is very important. That's something that we definitely happens. You'll see that at Oakmont, that our nurses will be in communication with our residents' physicians, keeping them abreast of changes and so forth, so that we're working together with that physician to give that resident the best possible care.
Mary, when we were talking to Jill a little bit earlier about the different ways to maybe slow down the symptoms, taking care of yourself, taking care of your body, nutrition, what are some of the things that you guys do in memory care along those lines?
Well, number one, definitely exercise is important. So walking, keeping active, exercise is a huge part of our program in our Traditions community, whether it be chair exercises or, again, going on a walk. Mind stimulation. Technology is great for that.
Nice.
We actually have tools that we use to kind of help stimulate the brain, and taking advantage of what technology offers.
And I could imagine with all these additional opportunities to kind of slow down the process, this will all be brand new for that adult child bringing their mom or dad to your place. I assume that there's maybe an educational component on, now that we're here, we've luckily found your place and we've met you, and what can I do as an adult child along the way? There's educational parts to it also for them?
We definitely encourage our families to be involved. Our staff, we have a higher staff ratio in our Traditions Memory Care. We also have an activities director just for our Traditions community.
Nice.
So we encourage our families to come in, to talk with our staff, to interact with the residents. We want to take that burden of having to care for a parent away from the adult child, and just being able to enjoy their parent as that daughter or that son or that spouse. But our families are always encouraged to be in our community, to enjoy things with their loved one. We might have a matinee movie. We have a movie theater where the families can come in, and we're taking a few of our residents to see a movie, and families are welcome.
Awesome. So that's some good stuff going on over there. And you know what, let's take a quick break, and then when we get back, we're going to talk a little bit more to Brian Welsh about the Alzheimer's Walk and a few other great things around memory care. I'm Curtis, and we're here at KHTS AM 1220, your hometown network station.